Alright, so I just finished setting up this beautiful Ibanez SA160 FM. That's Ibanez names for you. They sound like fucking video cards, but whatever. I just finished setting it up, and I'm about to undo the whole thing, because I thought this bridge would actually be worth taking a detailed look at least if you're a nerd like myself. And I'm sorry I sound like shit, but I just recently scored 39 on the good old thermometer here, which for those of you who still measure things in buckets and pebbles and leaps, that's about 102 Fahrenheit. So I feel like shit, and I sound the part. Anyway, on the first look, this is basically just a strat bridge. It's a 2-point synchronized arrangement thing, right? Albeit it looks way cleaner, more modern, more Ibanez-like. You can see there's no screws poking up, because, that's strat bridge. Screws poking up everywhere. Most Fender bridges are gonna look like that, because why would you take the time to, measure sizes and estimate an operating setup window for the thing, and, using screws that are only long enough for this to work, but not that long that they poke into your hand? Well, obsessive people at Ibanez, they took like 30 extra seconds and, use the right screws. Talking about screws, you got the Allen adjustment screws on the back. Those look really clean, really nice. They're easy to adjust. You use the same size range for everything, which comes with a guitar. Who gives a shit? Everybody's got a 2 or 3. I don't know what this is. I think this is a 2.5. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It also has a fancy push-in thing here, which stays nicely in place. It's beautiful. It's way better than what you get on a Strat. And that's about it. But the interesting thing comes when you look at it, when you disassemble the thing and you look at it. So that's what I'm about to do. Undo all my hard work just for a stupid video. That's the kind of a loser I am. Alright, let's remove the strings. On a quick note, before I just take this whole thing apart, dude, for a non-locking setup, you can really go at it, and either that or I'm the setup wizard, but you can really fucking go at it, and nice. By the way, how cool is this truss rod car system here? This is the kind of shit that would never fly at Gibson. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm an old curmudgeon when it comes to, my choice of guitars. You can see very traditional. This is probably the most modern thing I play. My Yamaha Rapstar. Or the fucking Minion. But yeah, this is really fucking smart. Really cool. And how cool does that metalized logo look? I don't know if it's coming through my shitty phone, but that looks beautiful, dude. That's the kind of thing that you gotta love Ibanez for. Alright, so we're in. Now, first thing that stands out of this, otherwise regular looking cloth or springs and a block arrangement is this plate here. This plate is, let me be clear, this is not necessary. It's absolute overkill. But it's there to hold the 3 springs in place. Okay, you got 5 lips, so it's 1 for each of the 5 possible hooking positions. And, I mean, I've never had or heard of a spring coming out, but, I mean, it can hurt. It's there. Yeah, there's a little bit of wiggle room, and this makes sure that they don't move at all, unless you really try to do it, but why would you? But yeah, I mean, I recently set up a Floyd Rose. The guy told me that it would never go back to place, and it was actually true. The center spring was wiggling around inside the hole. There was some imperfection in the metal, and the thing would not always rest on the same place. It would hook on that imperfection, and that tension differential was already enough to throw the whole thing out of whack. So I had to get a drill with a very small bit and file it down and get rid of the imperfection, and then it wouldn't hook anymore there, and it would always rest on the same place, and that was that. But with this plate, that's to make sure that this is never going to happen. So that's an extra bit of overkill from Ibanez. Also, there's these holes, so you can slip the strings in and out without having to remove the thing. Had this been Fender, this would probably be just a fucking plate, but then again, that's Ibanez. Attention to detail on pretty much everything. These can be adjusted. So this is nailed to the base. But if you ever need to adjust the overall action, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know that these can go up and down as if this were a tune-o-matic. I prefer to have them pinned because it's a little bit of movement. And even though it's going to be under tension, it's always going to be, leaning forwards. I'd rather have it down. But I don't know. Might be the case that you need to raise the whole thing and you don't want to mess with the curvature of the, the radius setup. So that's an option. Okay, so here's the bridge. Like we said before, very clean, very neat design. You can tell this is a Chinese bridge because, this thing's been barely used and it's already got these marks where you should actually have a nice, perfect knife edge. But, if you want that, you're going to have to buy a Japanese Ibanez. But, yeah, that's price points for you. So anyway, yeah, you have that. You can see there's no springs on the back of the saddles. You would have a strap. No, these springs. You don't have those on the Ibanez. The Ibanez relies solely on the tension of the string to, once you made your adjustment, it keeps it pinned forward. Okay, I'll take that out because you can see it moves freely, but these ones don't because they actually have this screw with the spring. The other one, of course, has it as well. I just removed it. You have this constantly applying some extra friction there. So this is actually really hard to move. Once you put it in place, this is not going anywhere. It's not going to be like this. Okay, this is like it's hooked there and it's not going anywhere. Also, another function that this serves is it makes sure both of the adjustment screws for the height are pinned to the face, to the front of the plate. So you're not gonna have like you see on a lot of bridges that one of them is making contact and the other side is leaning against the saddle, so the other screw is not really making contact. So the whole thing is really, fiddly, and one of them is rattling. So you put Loctite and you adjust it again and you pray for the best, and it's always going out of whack, and that's not gonna happen here. Here you pinned it to the surface, and that is it, and that is not going anywhere. That is brilliant by Ibanez. Also, you can see this screw here. This gets rid of the need of having a plate in the back because the saddle will hook there and it's going to be there, and that's it. It's pinned there for good. So you can see the intonation adjustment screw ends in a very sharp edge that hooks on this, fulcrum like point there on the screw. Okay, so the thing hooks there, and if you pull it, well, first you gotta put it in the right place. Now, if you pull it from the back and there is tension forward, it won't come out. So it's hooked from there, it's hooked from the screws, held in place by the tension of the string. This is a very solid, very sturdy design. And it's not like they had to, use extra pieces, because these are the same screws that are gonna hold the plate to the block. So these screws are necessary anyway. They just, made an efficient choice of, an efficient use of a spring that was of a screw, that was going to be used anyway. It's a hard time talking today. Just gotta be the fever. I'm sweating profusely at the moment. I'm dying. Anyway, yeah, that's a very efficient and smart use of the resources and pieces and shit. Here's an extra bit of comparison between the Strat bridge and that other thing. You see how there's a gap in between the saddles? These two are touching, these are not, these are, I don't know. You see, this is very flimsy in that regard. It's like, yeah, it's in place. Okay, it works. Actually, this particular Strat is incredibly stable. I love this thing. It's a Squire, by the way, but it's a great one. On this thing, since they're gonna redesign the whole thing anyway, the fact that it's held by this screw and this thing and the tension of the spring and they're very long and very soft-edged things, these are like on rails. Like if I move one, well, actually, yeah, I can move them to the sides. They're very compact. Yes, there is a little bit of, you can push them to the center, but once they're all under tension, they're held together like one next to the other in place, and they're like on rails. They're not going anywhere. It's very solid, and it's got a lot of sustain. The design this is really, really well made. And like I said, this is a Chinese thing. This is just some, die cast chrome, whatever. You can see the imperfections all over the place. This is not a fancy piece. This is just, it's very light. I mean, it's not like they went with a high mass, whatever. The block is not really that thick or anything. It's not that heavy, but it's very sturdy. So yeah, so great design. Regardless of the materials, the design is so good that it doesn't matter. That the quality doesn't matter all that much. That's what I'm trying to mumble. Jeez. And finally, this is what I like the most about this type of bridges. Is the way the bar goes in. Look at that. That is so satisfying. And it stays in place. There's no threads. There's no nut. Like on a Floyd Rose. It's so fucking ancient and stupid to have a thing they have tight in there. It always goes out of place. How this? This is brilliant. And it's not fancy in any way. It's a plastic piece. You can see the edge there. Actually, it's two pieces that they sandwich together and they hold the thing in place. It's so nice and soft and satisfying. I can't tell you the amount of times I put it in, taking it out, and in and out. It's not on my guitar, by the way. I should be careful with it, but I love it. And even if you think this thing is way too close to the bridge, for example, you can adjust it from here, and you can make it come out a little bit so that it sits a little bit higher. A little bit of fine-tuning you can do. And there's a spring, of course, because everything's got to be under tension in some way. Nothing can be loose. So there's a spring. That's so simple, so nice. And those two pieces of plastic that sandwich this thing together, hey, with the same wrench that you adjust this thing, you can adjust it here. You apply a little bit thing, and now it's really tight into place. In case you want to do, those flurry thing that people just smack it and it's always there in the same place. Or whatever, for whatever reason, you have the option to adjust this. This is just one extra screw and two holes, because it's the same block as the same one you're going to use for, the right-handed version of the left-handed version. Because, again, Japanese design, efficiency, before all, is great. Now, I can't take it out because I tightened it. So fucking simple. I want to take it out again because I like it. And in and out, and in and out. I love this thing. You can stop watching now. I'm just gonna play with the thing. I fucking love this thing. This is great. Seriously, stop watching. This is pointless now. Get a life. I'm sick. Can't go to work. I don't feel like doing anything else. I'm not even gonna edit this shit. I'm gonna get it as is. 39 degrees. I feel like shit. Can't even get drunk. So I need rest. Oh, fuck. Alright. Goodbye. Just because my phone is running out of battery. So otherwise you'd be here for another 10 minutes. So I got nothing better to do. Oh, I gotta put together the guitar again, but you don't care about that. Alright, see you. Oh, by the way, this is called the... hold on. This is called the SAT Pro 2, which nobody knows what SAT stands for. Apparently, it's supposed to be S is for satellite, according to Ibanez.fathom.com. This is the Ibanez wiki. There's a lot of good information there. Go there. It's a great place. If you have an Ibanez, there's something you don't know about it, you'll probably find the answer there. Okay, bye. And yes, you can access that screw with the bridge on. You don't have to disassemble the whole thing. It's there.